Hey everyone, and welcome back to Mind Window. Have you ever felt lost, caught in a quiet moment, and found yourself questioning your very purpose in this world? Today, we're diving deep into those hidden inner confessions, the ones that whisper, "Who am I? And why am I even here?" We're going to explore that overwhelming feeling we call an existential crisis. I promise you, what we uncover might just change the way you see yourself. So stick with me because there are some truly surprising revelations ahead. Are you living life in a blur, just constantly caught in the whirlwind of work, your stomach screaming for a real unhurried meal, your eyes heavy and blurry from a lack of sleep from too many nights spent staring at a screen? Maybe you're racing against the clock, chasing a dream that always seems just out of reach, but your steps have become so frantic, you're so focused on running that you've forgotten to love the person you're running with, yourself. So we start looking for ways to reclaim our time. We search for any clever system or solution that can help us store away our burdens, organize our lives, and just give us back a few precious moments. We hope that with this extra time, we can finally tend to that forgotten child within us, that we can nurture our families, our friendships, and even the world around us. And that brings me to a memory, a moment from my own life that really started it all. Dad, why wasn't I born special? I'm not pretty, I'm not smart, and I don't have any talents. I had accepted it so early on, this belief that I was just an ordinary, unremarkable kid. As I leaned against my dad, tears streaming down my face, confessing all my insecurities, he just gently patted my back and said, "The one who can make ordinary things special becomes a special person." I had been hoping he'd say, "No, honey, my daughter is beautiful, brilliant, and more special than anyone I know." That's what I craved. But what he said, it wasn't what I wanted to hear. In that moment, all I heard was a confirmation of my fears, that I really was less than other kids. My mind became a battleground of conflicting thoughts. Who am I? What is my purpose? Why do I exist in such a meaningless way? Maybe I shouldn't have been born at all. I felt so useless, so awful. I was disgusted with my own existence, 1,000 questions without answers. And just like that, we've fallen into an existential crisis. An existential crisis is what happens when a person starts to fundamentally question the meaning of life and their own existence. It often strikes when we lose our faith or our sense of purpose after experiencing a profound loss. Most of us have hit rough patches, periods where we feel lost, exhausted, depressed, or stuck, but usually those feelings are temporary. They don't completely derail our daily lives. For someone in the grip of an existential crisis, however, it's a persistent, gnawing anxiety, a fear and stress that just doesn't let go. This feeling invades their mind, forcing them to constantly question their own existence, to doubt their place, their meaning, and their role in the world. It creates a deep internal conflict, a loss of faith, and a profound disappointment with life itself. An existential crisis often stems from a few key triggers. It can be a major, sudden event, like witnessing the passing of a loved one, facing a serious medical diagnosis that brings your own mortality into focus, or simply confronting the realities of aging. It can come from a deep dissatisfaction with your current life path, from emotions that have been bottled up for far too long. Or it can be a feeling of being disconnected from society, weighed down by guilt or regret over something in the past. This type of crisis can be incredibly overwhelming. It can seriously impact a person's quality of life and, in some cases, can even push them towards self-destructive behaviors. So how do we possibly get through this? Well, I have a 5-year-old nephew. He's absolutely adorable, sweet as a little kitten. But no matter how sweet he is now, I will never forget what he was like when he was 3. At 3 years old, he discovered the word no and used it for everything. He was stubborn, defiant, and bossy. He'd order the adults around, break things on purpose, and even hit his own parents. It turns out those little kids we think only know how to eat, sleep, and play, they have crises too. It's the crisis of the terrible threes. They are demanding to be recognized as individuals, trying to assert their own ego. They've just realized that they are separate people with a certain amount of power. They also sense all these new, conflicting emotions inside themselves, but because they don't have the language to express them or the ability to know right from wrong, they lash out with intense, rebellious behavior. And that's when it hit me. Crisis, it turns out, is a completely natural part of our psychological development at every stage of our lives. Every single person on this planet, even the most successful or the most carefree, has to navigate these difficult, stormy waters. So the very first step is to gently embrace these overwhelming thoughts of crisis. Try to see this period as an unavoidable chapter in your story and just focus on preparing yourself to navigate it in the best way you can. I started by looking back at the dreams I once had, and I was shocked to realize I didn't really have any. Who do I truly want to be right now? I had no idea. Maybe that's why, without even thinking, the question I always ask younger kids is, so what do you want to be when you grow up? I guess I'm still searching for an answer myself. Our 20s, they can feel like a boulevard of road of dreams. The ambitions you held so tightly start to get pushed aside. That fire, that burning spirit, it begins to dim. You start to give in because reality has thrown a cold bucket of water on all your fantasies. Who would have thought that all the things we once said, all the promises we made, would just become empty words? As we grow up, we can lose so many things. That simple object that once brought you joy for an entire day, the ability to cry and laugh so easily, even people who were once close, and the dreams of our childhood. But losing these things isn't the scariest part. What's truly terrifying is becoming indifferent to those losses. The days of our 20s are probably the most grueling, confusing, and empty times of our lives. Stepping into that quarter-life crisis, you leave the world of school behind, shedding that old identity. Friends start to move away, and you have to build a whole new network of social connections that you might not even enjoy. The line between reality and your dreams becomes completely blurred. But a person's life isn't a wide, flat highway. It's a constant process of revision and change. It's okay not to know what you want, but you absolutely must remember what you don't want. At this age, we, the young, might have nothing but our own two hands, but it is these very hands that will hold everything and decide who we become. And so I decided I just wanted to be an ordinary person, to live kindly and to be happy. But what even is happiness? I once learned that at its very core, true happiness means having a little land, a little money, clothes to wear, and food to eat. It means your whole family is together. That right there is happiness. Are you happy right now? What was the moment you realized that you too are a happy person? For me, I think it's when I feel that everything is enough. That's when I know I'm happy. Enough is my dad, under the scorching sun, driving his old, beat-up sedan with its rumbling engine just to take me to the bus station so I could head back to the city for college. And then waiting, just waiting, until the bus carrying his daughter disappeared from sight before he'd finally turn to go home. Enough is my grandma. Even though she's older now, her mind not as sharp as it used to be, forgetting things here and there, but still secretly wrapping up snacks with a few crumpled dollar bills and pressing them into my hand, terrified that I'd be hungry in the big city with nothing to eat. Enough is my mom, who every month still sends a care package filled with vegetables and meats wrapped in big, bulky parcels and all kinds of medicine because she's afraid her child is too lazy to take care of themselves. Enough is having a home to return to, waking up every morning in my small but warm bed in a little room with a big window that welcomes the morning sun. Enough is having someone I love waiting for me with a home-cooked meal. Is having relationships with just a few people who bring an immense amount of healing energy into my life. Enough is knowing that I receive so much love and that I will give just as much in return. Life isn't lacking in beauty. It's just that sometimes we lack the will to go looking for it. If you can learn to see the wonderful things hidden within the simplicity of everyday life, you'll realize how gentle this world can be. People aren't unhappy because they have too little, but because they haven't yet learned what is enough. I know that everyone has a different definition of happiness. Not everyone has a peaceful home or a solid emotional foundation from family, friends, or a partner. But I'm sure that every single one of us wants a life of peace. And a peaceful life doesn't depend on how luxurious your material world is, but on whether your heart is calm and joyful. When your soul is at peace, you see peace everywhere. When your heart is filled with love, you see sunshine everywhere. It's like what the fat cat Zorba taught the little seagull about how to be happy. In your life, you will have many reasons to be happy. One of them is water. Another is the wind. Another is the sun. And they always come as gifts after the rain. Feel the rain. Let it glide across your wings. Imagine this, a perfect day. You're sipping a warm cup of coffee, sitting by the window, just watching the clouds drift by. A golden sunbeam cuts through the leaves, and for a moment, everything is crystal clear, and your heart feels impossibly light. You feel happy, and you might think to yourself, if only every day were like this. If life was always this beautiful, everyone would be happy. But my friend, you know what? It's not the sunny day that makes you happy. The sunniest countries on Earth, like Egypt and Sudan, often rank lowest on the happiness index. The one thing, the only thing that truly allows you to feel that peace is you. A beautiful day in itself doesn't bring us happiness. It's the fact that we haven't been truly savoring days like this all along. If we were constantly surrounded by warmth and sunshine, we'd get used to it, and that warmth would lose its magic. How could we ever truly cherish a sunny day without having lived through the gloomy, dreary, rainy ones? How could we possibly feel the heights of happiness if we've never known the depths of sorrow? So I've made a decision. I'm going to be an ordinary person, living a kind and happy life. But I'm also deeply aware that things that make me unhappy will still happen, and I have to understand that it's impossible to be happy all the time. If it were, happiness would just become normal. To live a truly happy life, sometimes we have to walk through the shadows to feel a little unsteady so we can truly appreciate the moments when our spirits soar. The other day, I went to a local history museum. I was looking at these display cases filled with chipped bowls and rough, uneven plates, ancient artifacts from a time long past. To a kid like me, they didn't look like much, honestly. They seemed pretty useless. But then they did something incredible. They projected light onto them. I think they called it 3D projection mapping. And suddenly, I just gasped. Intricate patterns bloomed across the surfaces. Delicate floral designs, scenes of ancient life, soaring eagles. In that light, that seemingly ordinary plate looked like a priceless treasure. And that's when it hit me. When you find the right person who sees your value, who cherishes that value, it's like being illuminated. Something that seemed ordinary can become extraordinary, and the person who helps you see that is special too. For me, that person was my dad. He helped a regular kid like me see the real worth I held inside. And so I will be an ordinary person living a peaceful life. This journey of self-discovery, of finding peace in the ordinary, is something we all share. It's the quiet conversation happening within each of us. If this story resonated with you and you found a piece of yourself in it, please show your support by giving this video a like and subscribing to Mind Window for more journeys into the heart. Share this with someone who might need to hear this message today. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. What makes you see the extraordinary in your own life? Let's reflect together in the comments below. Thank you for watching.